afternoon, Brollies. Welcome to our last core series session. I can't believe how far we've come in our series, the topics we've covered, the wonderful speakers that we've met, which have all added to our overall vitality and well-being. We started the series in the hopes of providing Brollies with the necessary tools to overcome many of the new adversities we'd find ourselves coming up against. From the feedback we've received, though, it seems that we've accomplished just that. Today, we take a look at the power of a smile, or more specifically, a laugh. With so much seriousness and negativity around us these days, we had to look at innovative ways to keep our mental health in check. And today's speaker, Dr. Martin Combrink, is exactly somebody who does that. He's the founder of Laughter for Africa and is trained personally with Dr. Kateria, the founder of Laughter Yoga in South Africa and in India. Dr. Martin obtained his PhD in the application of laughter as therapy in 2015. He's been conducting laughter yoga and coaching seminars, workshops, and training in South Africa since 2007. And his speciality is delivering laughter to the corporate world. He conducted the very successful Online Laughter Summit in 2014, bringing laughter experts together in an online platform. Besides being a certified laughter yoga teacher in South Africa, he's also an internationally registered and qualified yoga, relaxation, and meditation teacher. Dr. Martin is also a corporate wellness consultant and trainer. Before I hand over to Dr. Martin, please can I ask everyone to turn on their cameras so that we create a more engaging session today, especially because it's our last one. And I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say that we'd like to see some of our colleagues on this final call. Dr. Martin, welcome and thank you for being with us today. Over to you.
Thank you, Andile. Thank you very much. And I must say, you look stunning there in your clothes and your outfit. So very, very nice. Hello, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity, Roel, for having me and sharing my passion of laughter with all of you. As usual, I would like us just to start with a little bit of our own mindfulness practice. So if you can just close your eyes for a moment, make sure you're sitting comfortably on your chair. If you've got a back that you can lean against just to support your back, that will be great. Feel that your feet are grounded onto the floor. And then we just take a nice, slow, deep breath in. Feel that we lengthen up through the spine and have a slow and long exhalation through the nose. Letting go of any stress, any tension. And again, take a nice deep breath in, lengthening upwards and slowly exhale. Or any part of the body that feels tense, just let it be right now. Feel that you can sink into the chair itself. It's taking all your worries or your concerns or your expectations away. And you can just become aware of your own breath. Once we become aware of the breath, we become mindful of the present moment. And that wonderful feeling of just being right here, right now, nowhere else. So take this opportunity to see if there's any aches and pains in your body that you just identify, because as soon as the mind becomes still, we start to notice all these little messages starting to give to us from the body. It starts to talk to us. So we need to take note, stiffness in the shoulders, maybe a headache or in the lower back from sitting, in the wrists. Just mentally note that, be with that for a moment. Wonderful. Let's take another slow, deep breath in. And as we exhale, just slowly allow your eyes to open. Great. Thank you for that. Mindfulness is a really, really important aspect in our own well-being. And in this wonderful course series that Brol has been running, you have a variety of fantastic speakers talking about all different aspects, from resilience right through to the changing world of the working environment that we're dealing with. But if we look at all those different speakers, there are certain aspects that are universal that everybody has covered, and that has got to do with stress management. How do we deal with stress? How do we specifically look and help ourselves with that? It's got to do with our mental aspect. How do we deal with the big concern of dealing with the mental anguish that we're sitting with at the moment? It's got to do with mindfulness, that the practice that we've just done, and able to bring ourselves into the present and just take note, take stock. And the best way to do that is obviously to work with our breathing and to connect with the breath. There was little talks about the hope and happiness, which of course today we're going to do lots of that. We had some interesting talk about sleep and how it affects us, and the superpowers that we get from wonderful sleep, because if we don't sleep enough, the body gets drained and we don't have energy to do our work and to continue as human beings. It's got to do with the whole aspect of finding balance. And today we're going to talk about that with our laughter therapy. And of course, the power of listening when it comes to focusing and really focus and being present. And listening has all to do with mindfulness again, coming back. So today we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to experience, we're going to really feel what it feels like to have wonderful laughter in our body. And of course, then we're going to have some time for you to ask some questions and really share what you've learned. So for now, if I may ask you to take a nice slow deep breath in again, lovely deep breath in, and as you exhale, I want you just to start to laugh. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Next time when we have a laugh, you're going to all turn your microphones on that we can hear you. But for now, what I want to do is ask you, and this is really important for us because it's got to do with becoming aware of what's happening inside ourselves. What prevents you from just bursting out in complete laughter, right? Just think of that for a moment. Why was it difficult for you to find your laughter? Are you not used to it? What is the mind been telling us? The mind's so busy that you can't really get into it, and you're stuck in your mind and you can't get out of that, right? So all these aspects that blocks us from experiencing our true reality helps us to build our resilience, help us to increase our mental health, and to work with all the other things we spoke about already. Comes down to basically the fact that we always got an excuse why we can't be happy, why we can't have joy in our lives, right? Some people might think, well, they're self-conscious for them to just start laughing. There's nothing really to laugh about, maybe because of the situation we're in and the lockdown and all that sort of thing. I know some people always say that they feel vulnerable, specifically if they're in a big group. Today we're in a Zoom session, but if they're in a group, they feel vulnerable because they're sharing something of ourselves. But this is exactly what it is, you know. When we look at laughter as therapy, we encompass and we use all these things we spoke about and we bring it together under one aspect. So laughter therapy helps us to let go of stress. It helps us to become mindful. It helps us to expand our awareness, our imagination, thinking about the future kind of thing. Of course, we bring the laughter, which helps us in our lifestyle and being able to cope with things like our sleep and our grief and the pursuit of happiness. What do we do in the changing circumstances and world? And it helps us to give us energy. It helps us to feel much better. And this is where the laughter comes in. You know, we can continue the whole afternoon talking about how wonderful laughter is and what we can do with it. But in the end of the day, we need to have simple, practical techniques that we can employ and we can learn, and I can teach you today to take with you. And of course, we have to have a wonderful laugh together. I'm going to talk very little about just the background of it, to give you a little bit of educational background, because when it comes to behavioral science, which is my forte, my field I work with, we need to give you the awareness and the education, and through that we are wonderfully be able to change our behavior, right, from a negative towards a positive, whatever it is that we want to change. So laughter as therapy has been very interesting, a very new science in a sense, and it's taken off relatively new, although a lot of research has been done in the field. And some of the important aspects that started coming up with laughter as therapy was basically that your body does not know the difference between fake laughter and real laughter. So even if you want to fake the laughter today, and I would please invite you, if you don't feel like laughing, you've got a headache, or you don't feel so great, you had a bad day at work, or everything is going wrong, or there's ESCOM problems or COVID problems, then just pretend to laugh and see after a while what happens when the fake or the pretend laughter turn into real laughter, okay? That's what the wonderful study that's been done, to say that eventually the fake laughter will turn into real laughter, and we'll have a fantastic, wonderful, hearty laugh. And as soon as that happens, the body starts to release the endorphins. So we have these wonderful anti-stress cocktail of a wonderful feel-good hormones to start to flood the body all over, and it's spread throughout our body and our being. And when we have our time for our laughter meditation or our laughter relaxation, we just then assimilate all that and we feel fantastically, all right? So that is an important aspect. Secondly, the research has also shown us that we don't laugh enough, all right? So it's shown us that children 8 years and younger, so if you think of your family, your siblings, if your grandparents, your little grandkids or whatever, 8 years and younger, you can visualize what they look like in that age and what they do. They're very inquisitive. They laugh an average of 100 to 200 times a day, which is really a lot, right? So if you have to measure yourself against how many times a day you laugh, then it is probably around 10 to 15. That is what the international statistics are telling us. That is normally in a work situation, maybe a little bit more, but of course, most of us are now not back at work and we are remotely working. So that number has dramatically dropped as well. And we don't have a chance to engage with people and to laugh with people. And that, of course, is a major thing. So what we want to do as in laughter therapy, as a laughter therapist and as a laughter coach, we need to get that laughter out, and we need to bring it out of ourselves so that you can laugh more than 10 to 15 times a day and start laughing at least 20, 30, 40 times a day, as much as you feel comfortable with in the beginning, all right? That is the secret of it. But we do not use any jokes or comedy or humor for the laughter. Whenever people talk to me and say, well, tell us a good joke. I said, well, I don't know a lot of jokes. I'm not a type of a joke person. You get people that can tell or joke a silly joke and it's wonderful. I'm not one of them. And so we don't use jokes, comedy, and humor to initiate the laughter, for the simple fact that if we have to use it, it is very short-lived and using jokes, comedy, and humor. And it is normally negative humor that we use. So it's always against somebody or something. So there's not real hearty laughter. But when we just use our laughter therapy, it comes from within. Right? And the joyfulness from within, which all of us have got, even if you think you haven't got it anymore, it's within us, right? Think of that mindfulness when you had to talk about the mindfulness. What is mindfulness? It's just being in the present, right? Right now, where you're sitting, you can feel your chair, you can feel what's happening in your body, you become aware of your breath, and that is what mindfulness is about, right? Not worrying about the past, not worrying about the future, but being right here. So whatever happens after the session, when you go home, you drive home, whatever you do, you've got to cook for the family or the kids or whatever, that is part of the future, not now. Right now, okay. And if you take that with you throughout the day, and every now and then you reflect. So every now and then you become aware of your breath. You just become aware of the breath moving in and the breath moving out. And you say to yourself, how am I feeling right now? Right now, at this point in time, I'm okay. Okay, that is what mindfulness is about. And in laughter yoga, we want to create that mindfulness throughout our session, and we bring it about. So we slow down all the activities of the mind. And for those of you that are hectically in the corporate world, like all of you are working with sales and customers and all that, you're full of stuff in your head. We want to take you out of that for a moment put you into your body, to ground you in a sense, all right? So these days, all the clever people are talking about grounding, how important that is for us. And they try and tell you what you should do to ground yourself and techniques kind of thing. But, you know, us in Africa knows everything about grounding because we come from the earth in a sense. We are earth people. We are very much connected with our culture, working in the fields and the lands and so forth. And grounding is nothing but more than just putting your feet on the soil or in the grass and just being somewhere. My favorite thing to ground myself is to hug a tree. And if you've never hugged a tree, a big old oak tree, where you can put your arms around and you can't even get around the stem and you just stand there breathing. If you've got too much stuff going on in your life and you just hug the tree and you can feel that wonderful energy coming in, all right? And you know what? Grounding is one of the most fantastic things for the sleep. When you had the speaker talking to you about the sleep, how important is if you ground it, you sleep much better, which obviously is as I said, is good for our own soul and our being. So laughter, we use absolutely no jokes, comedy, humor to initiate the laughter. And people say, well, how do you actually laugh? We laugh just for the sake of laughing. All right. So we realize and we start to teach ourselves through simple exercises and movements that we don't have to take life so seriously, and we become like children again. This is part of the whole aspect of the laughter therapy, to learn to become like children again. And that might be the biggest problem of most adults, specifically in the corporate world, when I work with people a lot, is for people to be able to let go of that mindset of I am this or I am that or I am the CEO or whatever, just to say I am right here, right now, and forget about my labels and laugh about the silly things in life. That is what the saying always goes, okay? Right, so we're not going to talk much further about it, except that I want to talk to you about the wonderful positivity of laughter. First of all, when we laugh, of course, what happens? We take in oxygen and we let go of it. So the laughter itself creates a lot of movement in the chest, in the lungs. So there's a constant movement, taking in and getting rid of carbon dioxide in the body. So it is very good for strengthening our immune system. And normally in a session, when we do a session, we have at least 20 to 25 minutes of continuous laughter that we have to sustain. And the reason for that is that's what the research is showing us, is that is the time that we need for the pretend laughter to turn into real laughter. Now you think, wow, that is really long. How do we do that? But with practice, it starts to happen. And if we do it mindfully and slowly and with full awareness, we are able to do it with lots of breathing in between. So the laughter itself, as I said, is an innate thing, and we all have our own way of laughter. Now, sometimes, especially as a teenager, maybe you might have been a little bit self-conscious about your laugh, what it sounds like and all that. And in the beginning, the laughter is subdued and we feel, oh, we don't want to really just let it out. But I invite you today, it's the first time maybe in years, just to do that. Just bring that old self, that inner child of you out and let your laughter come out, because our laughter is basically like our fingerprints, right? We all got different fingerprints, which identifies, and the same as the laughter, different fingerprints for everybody. So besides the fact that we have this wonderful lung expansion and working, which is so important for us during these difficult times with constriction that we have in the lungs, it helps us, as I said, with immunity, but it brings people together, it bonds people, especially now that we don't have the interaction a lot. When we laugh with people in a Zoom like this, we connect and we immediately just feel a different transfer of energy, which is great. It helps to lift our moods, our depression. When we feel a little bit down and sad, it really helps us to just get out of that and to feel lighter in our being. It's one of the best things that we can practice to bring us in a very short space of time, very quickly focus like a diamond point, completely one-pointed focusness. And that stalls and quiets the mind. And then it opens us up into a wonderful creativity in our being that we can start thinking. So if you find that you're busy working and you've been so busy throughout the day, your mind is completely stuffed. In other words, it's full and you can't think clearly, thinking about a new project or the new innovative way of doing something. Do some laughter, do some practice, do some grounding, and you'll find that at one pointedness comes and that creativity just starts to snap and start happening. And that social bond that we create with the laughter is really, really important, as I said. So if you're not with your colleagues and you can't, for whatever reason, maybe the COVID, you can't connect now, then connect with your family. Bring out that joy, bring out that expression in the throat area, because imagine our throat when we laugh, it's all about exhalation, right? So we exhale, you can't laugh with your inhale. So let's take a nice slow deep breath in. And we go. Put your microphones on that I can hear you, to see that you're at least with me and you haven't fallen asleep. Take another deep breath and we're going to go. And again, lovely deep breath in.
Oh, my word.
That's good. Nice. Now let's put our hands together like this. And we want to start by just greeting everybody. So palms of the hands together. This is called Namaste Greeting. In India, we greet each other like this. It means I greet the divine within you and you greet me back. It's a form of respect. So today, I first want to greet you. Put our hands together and you bow to everybody and we just start laughing. Welcome. Nice, yes, it's good to see everybody. Good. So remember, let it out. For the few minutes that we're together here, the short session that we have today, I want you to feel that you can let go of all that stress and tension. Remember, it's that mindfulness, noticing and feeling how it just drops away and we feel much lighter within ourselves. All right. So we're going to go through a series of movements, some series of exercises to quickly energize us. And we almost call it like a icebreaker energizer to get the mood going and to see how we go from there. Let's start off with a little COVID laughter. So put your masks on right here. Right. So with all of us, as we've got our masks on, right? So now we have to laugh a little bit. Close up. Close up. Yes, yes. Take it off. Take it off. Take it off. Take it off. That's what we want. We want to free ourselves when we can. When we feel safe, we want to laugh because we can laugh on our own, of course. This is really important because it's fantastic to laugh in a group. We can see each other, we can interact and all that. But how do we laugh on our own? That is also one of those things that we want to teach ourselves. And some of the exercises, are basically just there to initiate the laughter, is to be able to laugh at ourselves. And that is sometimes one of the most difficult things to do, right? So let's start with laughing at ourselves today, which is normally when we do it a little bit later, but I feel there's a different energy here today. So let's take this blaming finger that we have always for our colleagues and our partners and everybody else is wrong, looks at me, and we turn it inwards towards ourselves. And think of all our faults and all the things happening in our life at the moment, and we go, oh, look at me. Nice. So let's take a nice deep breath in. Take your arms over the head and have a wonderful stretch, stretching upwards. And exhale, just bring the arms down. There we sit. With the breathing out through the mouth this time. Again, inhaling, stretch, 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 stretch. And exhale. And if you want to stand, you can really do it standing. It's wonderful because obviously it gets you off your chair a little bit. Once again, we take a lovely deep breath in, stretch. Now I want you to hold it there. Hold it. And when you come down, we're going to laugh. 1, 2. Okay, so now just a lovely deep breath in. Remember, the breath is the link between the mind and the body, and we always use the breath to bring that balance back, okay? We spoke about the breath is also, like, in a sense, our detector of what's happening in our body. If we're stressed, the breathing starts to increase, our heart rate starts to increase, and we can always follow the breath and notice if we calm and relax, the breathing is nice and deep, okay? And the laughter obviously agitates the breath, and it starts to stimulate, and then we relax again. And we stimulate, and then we relax. And this is how we train the body to get out of that stressful state back into a state of relaxation. Okay, so here's your cell phone. Put it next to your ear. Lovely. If you haven't got your cell phone there, use your fingers like we do, and you're talking to your best friend. Very good. You see, that's why we spoke about we have to bring out our imagination, because we have to visualize things, right? And you have to see yourself into a situation, and then we change our behavior. And I know that for those of you who maybe had a background in some drama or some performance art or whatever, that when you go into character, you always have to study yourself in character, and you have to become that and visualize that and work with that, and then you start having that emotion. And similarly with laughter therapy, we have to create the laughter in our bodies, and then we start to change the mind. Then it moves up towards the mind, and we start to change behavior. So it's a different concept. It works much quicker than coming from the mind to the body. We go from the body to the mind. That's why the exercises and the movements are very good. Right. So put your hands together like this. And just repeat after me. This is when our childlike playfulness really comes out. We're going to go, very good, very good. Yay!
Very good, very good.
Let's go. Very good, very good.
Very good,
Very good, very good.
very good, very good.
Very good, very good. Good. Deep breath in, deep breath in, deep breath in, and out. And out. Just relax a little bit, feel yourself just settling and all that. Now, one of the speakers that you had was we're talking to you about how the COVID-19 has affected children and what can we do about it and all that. And, you know, the best thing we can do is to be with our kids, to be with our family at the moment, and to have that social bond and interaction. Because if we're full of anxiety and stress and nervousness, and we don't know what the future is holding in for us and what's going to happen, imagine what the kids, the children are feeling like. All right. Just last week, Thursday, I was doing a laughter therapy at the private school here in my area, and we were laughing with about 75 kids from they were aged 9 to 17, 18. So it was from small ones to the big ones, which normally we don't do, but the school wanted to have everybody. And it was so sad to see the kids and the mask that they have, and the fact that they've been wearing it so long that they can't interact anymore with people. And I was talking to the psychologist working in a school, and the psychologist was saying, you know, that when they want to take the mask off the kids, when they have one-to-one communication and sessions, the kids don't want to take their masks off because they feel that this is who they become. This is their safety net. This is their security blanket that they have, right? Even some of the parents saying that at home, even they don't want to take their masks off. So they eat at home, And otherwise they have their masks on. It's only when they go into the bedroom that they will take their mask off. So you can imagine that frustration and that buildup and pent-up of energy that's happening all in the throat area. This is where our communication happens, right? And our speech. This is our fifth big energy center from a yogic perspective we're talking about, right? So this is blocked, our mouth is blocked, and this causes us not to communicate. Now, at the moment, we have to do that because it is really important for us, for our health and well-being of other people and ourselves, but we have to learn to work with it. And if you don't feel like laughing and you've got a good voice, then sing. Singing is also wonderful because it opens up your throat, right? Whatever you sing. So we can la 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 la. Whatever you want to sing, just sing it out loud. Alone kind of thing. Get the kids and really get into it because that opens up the throat area. That is very important for us to do that as well. Okay. So again, I'm going to ask you to put your hands together and then show me your hands. And when you open it, you're going to look at the palms of your hands, right? And what you're looking at basically is your pay slip. So let's laugh about your money. Oh, and you have to show everybody how much money you've got. Yo, you see, sometimes, let me explain to you this way. We have what we call value-based exercises in laughter. So we've got different specific exercises, different categories. And this is one of the value-based exercises. So we take a potentially negative situation, like your salary every month, or how much money you've got in the bank, or your credit card bill, and we laugh about it. And the theory behind this is very interesting from a psychological perspective, that as soon as we energy beings, you all know that, and as soon as there's a negative emotion happening, whatever it might be, past, present, or future, it creates a disruption in the energy flow in our body, which everything from top to toe are connected. So there's dissociation happening between the mind and the body. But if we use a technique, simple technique like laughter therapy, there are other techniques as well, then what happens is we restore this synapses, in a sense, the firing of the neurons that gets broken, and the body-mind connection gets severed, in a sense, and we feel whole again. So we bring everything in balance. So it's not to say that we don't experience emotions, but we experience it less of a negative emotion. So next time when you're going to look at your pay slip and you go into the internet quickly to see if your money has been paid in, and you see how much you earn, let's laugh about it. The same what we do with the kids the other day. We take their school reports and we let them look at their school points, the marks, and laugh about it terribly. And what happens? They release stress, they release tension, because I don't know about you, but at school I wasn't really one of those smart kids that studied all day long and had great marks. I was just passing and all that, and I had two older brothers and they were doing well, and I always get a lot of flack from my dad. And in those days, corporal punishment was the in thing if you don't do well, and I remember it so clearly. And that stress and tension that it caused me every quarter or at the end of the year to go home and show my report, it is just imaginative. So what we do, we laugh about it, and we get the parents to laugh about it as well. And it takes some doing, right? But once you get into it, you realize why we do that. Okay, that's that laughter. Remember when we did the pointing with the fingers to ourselves, and we think about how can we laugh on our own? Let's point the fingers now and be really, really cross and angry towards you and your colleague, and point your finger to each other, but we're going to laugh. Naughty, naughty. Don't do that again. I'm nearly 2 fingers for you. Oh, lovely deep breath in. Lovely deep breath in and exhale, relax a little bit. Just get into that mindfulness, just noticing how we feel, how we are right now. Right now, I'm okay. And you're breathing. You have feeling a little bit lighter within yourself, and we connect with the chair we're sitting in. Lovely and slow and gently, just open your eyes. Open your eyes. Okay. So let's imagine in our left hand, we've got a little vessel, a little pot there, cream, pot full of cream, right? So you have to take the lid off. So let's see your pots. I want to see all your pots. And you have to take the lid off, and then you have to put your fingers in. And first of all, you feel it's nice and cool. Yeah, in Cape Town at the moment, it's really, really hot. So this cream is lovely and cool. So now scoop some of this cream up and put it in your face. This is called laughter cream. And you have to spread it all over. The more you put on, the more we laugh. And then we're going to spread it onto everybody else. Yes, a little bit more. Very good, very good. Yay! Very good, very good. Yay! Wonderful. Very good.
Very good. Very good.
Yay! Nice. So this one is one of my favorite laughter exercises that I like to do. And for that, normally it's good for you just to open up your chest and to just feel your heart center expanding. And when we expand into our heart center, we connect with everybody else. So I want you to think of your loved ones, think of your family, your friends, your colleagues or whatever. And we take a nice slow deep breath in, and then we take our arms and throw it up into the air, and we just wonderful. Let's do it again. Have all that positivity and send it out to everybody. Very good. Very nice. So just there where you are now, I want you to start to just center yourself and sitting quietly again with your feet nice and flat. You keep your cameras on. You keep your audio on as well. We just take a nice slow deep breath in and out. Feel that we can relax. We can settle down. Again, just becoming aware of how we're sitting, what's happening in the body. Gently and slowly connecting in the mindful present moment. So we can feel the breath, we can feel the chair, we can feel the body. We're still and quiet in the mind, just on the breath. This part is one of my favorite parts of laughter therapy. We call it a laughter meditation. So any of you who practice prayer or meditation or contemplation, you think, how is it possible? Because we have to be quiet. But in laughter, we first laugh ourselves silly, and then we become so focused and one-pointedness that is unbelievable. So I want you to open your eyes and then put your one hand onto your belly button and look around. It's somewhere still there. We find it and put it there. And it's from this little belly button of ours, from the base of the abdominal area, that we want to bring the laughter. Remember, it comes from here, it travels up and it goes through the throat expression, then we can hear it, all right? And we start with a gradient laughter. This is called gradient laughter, which means it's like a wave. It becomes slow and it rolls and it becomes bigger and bigger. And we just look at each other and we just start with Nice. So take a nice slow deep breath in. Just close your eyes and just relax as you feel yourself breathing out, and the breathing return back to normal. And you start feeling that groundedness through the buttocks, down onto the chair, into the legs, into your back for a moment. And you just relax. Now, this is the time that all those wonderful anti-stress cocktails, endorphins have been released, and it's been circulated now throughout, and we can feel so much lighter and better within ourselves. And the heaviness of the shoulders has been released. You feel the neck area is looser than before, and the whole body just feels ready and balanced right here, right now in the moment. Becoming aware of the breath, it starts to slow down, you start to find its own rhythm, and this is the mindfulness, that very important aspect of our mental health that you guys listen to in your series as well, that aspect that brings us together. The breath, the mind, and the body is what everything else comes together with that. So in laughter therapy, when we work with laughter, we strengthen our EQ, emotional intelligence, right? Because we become self-aware, we connect with other people, we build on our relationships to strengthen it, and we build on our resilience. And resilience helps us to bounce back very quickly, strong resilience. So as you settle down here, you feel yourself much more in control, much more ready to go through the last few days, few weeks before Christmas, the end of the year, into New Year, giving you that burst of energy to end with a bang and to do everything and to prepare for a wonderful new year full of possibilities that's lying ahead. And we know that when we bring ourselves back in the present, into our own body, into our own self, into our own strength, that we can overcome and we can cope with whatever comes. So slowly, again, take a nice deep breath in. Allow your eyes to open as you stretch up into the air. Have a wonderful stretch, stretch, stretch. And slowly coming down, bring the palms of the hands together in front of your chest. And we're just going to go. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for laughing with me. It is really important for you to now, when we finish, is to go and have a glass of water. Don't put anything in the water, just pure water. Please have that because we release a lot of stress and tension, as we spoke about, and it's not only on the physical, so it's on the mental and emotional level as well. So you might feel that you have a little bit of a headache maybe coming on, or you started having a headache. There's all the toxins and the emotional stuff let go of. So drink some water to flush the system. That's really, really great. And the fact is that if you don't have anybody to laugh with, for whatever reason it might be, then get some wonderful Trevor Noah videos or some lovely comedy things and watch it and just have a wonderful laugh. That's much better than not doing anything. But ideally, we want to be able to laugh with other people. We want to be able to laugh with your family, with friends, with your children, with kids, with grandkids, kind of thing. Because children's laughter is the most contagious thing. And when they laugh, their whole body shakes like this, right? You've noticed that. And the whole energy is just laughter. And it's not just us laughing, but the whole energy and the whole body is laughing, and that's what they want to do. And if you start the day with laughter and you end the day with laughter, your whole life will start to change. And I want to invite you to do that. You know, keep yourself a gratitude journal. One of the fantastic ways I always talk to somebody, to people in a session, and I say, just write 5 different things every day that you're grateful for into your journal. And the first few days is really easy, you know, grateful for this and this and this, but then it becomes more and more difficult. But you have to focus on it. It brings us into that mindfulness, that stillness, that mental aspect awareness. And before you go to sleep, it's a wonderful way of, as well, as to use your gratitude journal and to end the day with laughter. You know, I was always told as a child, you don't go to bed when you're angry, right? Because, and that is really, really so true. So if you have a fight or a quarrel or whatever, then have some laughter together and make sure that you make up, and that is a wonderful laughter at the end of the day. Starting the day with laughter, look at yourself in the mirror and just laugh at what you can see without your makeup on, the way that you look, your hair's all over. This is me. Because we have to accept ourselves, right? We cannot change anybody. We can only change ourselves. And when we want to start to bring more laughter into our lives, it will spill over to your family, into your colleagues, into your clients, kind of thing, that you can really serve them. Because imagine the difference between having somebody that just serves you as you know, you work with your clients, and somebody that's happy and joyful, that's full of vibrance and energy. And this is the type of people I want to do business with, right? This is the type of people that you want to, as bro, you want to give out there. You want to give your energy out there. And I can feel that your company is doing that through this wonderful course series that's been running for everybody, supporting them through COVID and helping them with all the different aspects, from the financial to the mental to whatever aspect it is that you've been dealing with. It's a wonderful series, and keeping that in mind, remind yourself, laughter is within. And we have to just remind ourselves that the joy we're looking for is nowhere else except in ourselves. And once we start to work with that, and practice is like any other exercise, the more we laugh, the more we want to laugh. In the beginning, it might be difficult for some people because we're not used to it, right? It's like a muscle, but then we start to find that everything becomes so much more joyful. And if you don't have a sense of humor, your sense of humor starts to develop through all that laughter, because let's face it, everything is funny. I've got no money. I'm standing in the queue. I'm wearing my mask. Oh, namaste, everybody. That's all I want to say
Dr.
today.
Martin. Thank
Please,
you.
if anybody got questions.
Yes, please. Does anyone have any questions? But Dr. Martin, I'm grateful for this lovely session, and what an apt one for all of us to end the series off with. We do have some questions that have come through, so I will share them, but please keep them coming. Some people may find it difficult to laugh. Why is this? Is one of the questions we've received.
Yeah, you know, we touched a little bit on that in the beginning. It's various reasons, but everybody basically the same. The self-consciousness is a really big thing. They feel that they haven't got a reason to laugh. Life is so serious, and there's nothing really to laugh about. And this is exactly why we need the laughter. We need to forcibly, in a sense, do it to be able to get us out of the rut, kind of thing. And the more we do it, the easier it will become. But remember, the mind is always the ego, our own ego that's preventing us, in a sense, because we are told that, you know, I was brought up that you only speak when you're spoken to, in a sense, and the children should be not part of a conversation with the adults, kind of thing. You know, they're a little bit separate, and we need a stimulus before we can laugh. So something needs to be funny, and then that leads to laughter. And we need to break that. We need to realize that we can create our own laughter, and that once we start to learn that, life will become so much more joyful for ourselves and other people.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. And with many of the added pressures in today's world, depression is on the rise. Can laughter help ease depression?
Absolutely. We're doing, what is today? Today is Tuesday. So on Thursday, I'm doing a session with SADC, South African Depression and Anxiety Group, their yearly function, where we're taking all their members and their groups together in South Africa, and just to use something different, because they've been through so much therapy and so much consultation. So yes, laughter helps fantastically to help with depression. And I'm not only talking about the adults here, once again, referring to the kids. Depression is really, really rife amongst them. So we need to look at how we can help them. Obviously, we have different stages of depression. We have people that are really, really down and out. So we have to be gentle and careful, and nothing forced, kind of thing, because you know, we want to be able to help lift the mood. And the more we can do that into all that other stuff, Eskom, all that other nonsense that's been put on us. We need to become more lightheartedness and lighter within ourselves. So laughter definitely is an antidote to depression.
Wonderful. So here's to all of us finding that inner child, and not to forget that you don't stop laughing because you grow older because you stop laughing.
Very good.
And with that, I'd like to close this session with a big roll. Thank you to you, Dr. Martin, for your time today, and to all the Brollies that have shared with us during these sessions, that have invested their time into their well-being. We wish you all the best during the festive season, and don't stop laughing. Bye.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Bye,
all the best for you. Be safe, be healthy.